Good evening, everyone. How are you? I hope you're keeping well. Happy Sunday, wherever you are in the world. Nowadays it's like you don't know when it's a weekend or when it's a weekday, and the weekends tend to go very quickly as well. I don't know about you, but I am constantly working. I create work for myself, which is also something that I need to be mindful of. So anyway, as you know, I had a show called Daily Reflections, and I paused it and I've resumed it as Sunday Reflections. So today is episode number 2, and today with me in the studio I have my friend and my dear friend from Vital Voices, Rashmi Tiwari. She's also part of the Swedish Institute Management Program network that I am part of. So welcome, Rashmi. How are you feeling today?
Hello, Elsa. I was good, a little disturbed, from an hour because after hearing Sushant Singh Rajput's suicide thing, I'm a bit concerned, and it's sad that people are not able to cope with depression, and this lockdown is something. It's hard time for all of us.
It
It's
is. It is
concerning.
really hard, isn't it? A lot of people, have various challenges. There's uncertainty about the job. We have no clue when this lockdown is going to be lifted. In Mumbai, we are still in a pretty harsh lockdown. We don't know what's the future. How long is it? Because some people are saying 2 years. Can you imagine living like this for 2 years? I can't. I'm mentally prepared till December, but I can't imagine this is going to be just like 2 years. And imagine somebody who's born in this time, for the first 2 years of their life, they probably know nothing else. So it's really hard. Talking about suicide and coping with such, harsh conditions, what are your thoughts on it? Because you work with a lot of young girls, and we'll come to that in a moment. But at the moment, let's just focus on mental health and coping during a crisis.
Mental health, somehow it's very important, and India as a society, of late has been breaking up in last few years, or I will say last few decades. We have been a closed society, full, joint family system, and everything was there. But now it's missing. With nuclear families, people staying alone in big cities, and changing jobs frequently, and social media. I always say that nothing can replace human touch and human love. Being a teenage daughter's mother, I'm seeing it in so many students. Nowadays they are not able to cope with the online system. The computer has replaced the school. The girls I work, suicide is very rampant because this love from the family is missing in that area. And for Bollywood and all this glamour industry, I feel that this is very harsh time. I have few model friends who have no job and don't know how to cope with it and how to meet their monthly expenses. So lockdown is definitely a hard time. And like you said that, it's 2 years. I'm also mentally prepared for October, November, maybe till Diwali, and after that I will go out. I don't know what will happen if it goes for 2 years or 3 years. Nobody knows. So it's a tough time, and time for us to not only put mental health but also physical health. Doing exercise, eating right food is very important at this time, much more than any other time.
Rashmi, we in the cities can do all this, like social distancing. We have access to the internet, and therefore we can move our exercise into our homes. We can afford good food. So we can choose
Yes.
the kind of diet that we want to have. So we have options. But you are the founder of Aahan Foundation for Social Change, and you work with a lot of Adivasi children, tribal girls in Naxalite areas. So can you share what they are going through and how they are coping during these times in COVID-19, please?
It's very tough time for them. Thankfully, the Jharkhand state where we work, the COVID-19 came late, and we had time to prepare. More than the food, the problem is that they don't have any emotional support, and child abuse is increasing, trafficking is increasing. I'm seeing so many kids being sent to work. There are kids who are stuck somewhere, people are throwing them out. Like one case happened in Mumbai itself in May, when the girl was working there since she was 7 year old, and she just had some fever and she was thrown out, and she struggled to reach Jharkhand somehow. So all these emotional support, and then one problem which is very big problem for us is that schools are going ahead with their syllabus irrespective of the concern that whether the kids have phone or access to internet or not. This is creating too much of mental pressure on them, and we are seeing suicides for that as well. So COVID-19, and one thing which we have been all the time talking about, that sanitary napkin problem was our focus during lockdown, because government was keen to provide ration, but even the school-going girls who were provided sanitary napkin from Anganwadi, they stopped giving that. So all these issues are very new, and they also don't know how to cope with it. And I'm just
Rash-
praying, putting my fingers crossed that Corona doesn't happen in those villages.
Rashmi, can you share a little more about the issues that the young girls are facing due to lack of sanitary napkins? I read a story that was featured on She the People where they were using um, ashes, rice husks, and stuff like that, which is totally unhygienic. But they have no options. And once it was featured on She the People, then you got some donors or you got some assistance from the government. Can you share a little bit more about the challenges that your young girls are facing, and how does Aahan Foundation work towards ending intergenerational cycle of gender-based violence?
Elsa, I will take the first question, the sanitary napkins. Um, it's not only young girls, it's the women also who are facing the similar problem. That there is no sanitary napkin available. The lockdown happened abruptly, and the shops were closed. They couldn't go out, and now they don't even have that many clothes. We have women who are just wearing saris because they have tore their petticoats to use for menstrual uh, cycle. And we face this problem, and then we distributed as much as we could in the first round. And by law, the school going children are supposed to be given sanitary napkins by Anganwadi, which didn't happen. So our girls like Aarti Munda and Rupanti Munda, they take up the cause, and Shelley from She the People featured that article where I said that ration is patriarchal too, because government didn't pay attention to what will happen to the women, especially who don't even have clothes, so many clothes in their house to cope with the periods. So we started that. Then we started crowdfunding, and we partnered with Bitwecan to do it. And lots of organizations like Oxygen came up. They supported us with sanitary napkins. Stafflinks came, and they in fact donated sanitary napkins for the whole panchayat of Jonha. And we are still trying to, because the need is much more than whatever has happened till now. And coming to the other question, that what we do at Aahan Foundation, how to break the intergenerational, it's the human trafficking and the child marriage is going on in tribal areas since generations. So it's not new, and they are so used to it that okay, grandmother went for work, and then mother went, and then the daughter will. It's presumed that everybody will go. How we are breaking, we are trying to break that cycle and make the girls go to school instead of working at brick kiln or as domestic help or going for sex trade. We are not able to stop it, but we are trying our best, at least in Naxal areas where it's more rampant. And we involve all the communities to help. We have learning centers, we have leadership programs for the girls, and the main objective is to bring the behavioral shift in the society, because I feel that if the change comes from within, then it will be sustainable change.
Rashmi, what motivated you to start the Aahan Foundation for Social Change?
uh, mm, Nothing, actually not motivated but shocked me. I went to Orissa in 2012 and went to villages there to just to see that okay, what is the status of girls who are going to some school, tribal school there. And the situation, what I saw there, Elsa, it was shocking for me. That father of a 6-year-old girl trying to sell that girl to me and just saying that take her away, do whatever you want and give, pay me by after seeing her service. And I was shocked that
He tried to sell
6-year-old, what?
his daughter. He tried to sell his daughter to you.
Yes, he just
Wow.
said that you take her away and give, pay me after you see her service. And I asked him, do you know where am I coming from? Do you know that what kind of service I will take from her? He said, I don't care. At least she will get some money for me so that I can feed other children who are left at the house. I went to places where, daughters didn't have clothes. I asked women, we normally say that, okay, tribal people, they just wrap sari around. And I asked one older woman that, why aren't you wearing, blouse with it? She said, do you think that we have money to buy blouse or petticoat? We just keep that money for the newlywed so that she can have that luxury of sari, blouse and petticoat for few months after her marriage. Otherwise, it's just sari and we wrap it around and then we wrap towel over it. I was shocked. It wasn't that I hadn't seen hardships, but that was something. And being an economic student, I know the data, but uh, seeing it from the naked eye, something I felt that I cannot continue with whatever I was doing, and I just left and started interacting with tribal girls.
So now you empower these young girls, you provide them with skills, you also empower them through football. Can you share a little
Yeah.
bit about the Aahan Bravehearts football club or whatever it is called?
We have Aahan Bravehearts football team, and we have more than 450 girls, and they play football. And their favorite is where they play goat matches. So there is a goat tied in the stadium, and wherever ground they play, and whichever team wins the game, they get the goat. And when we started, it was started with the help of one national level football player, Rupanti Munda. In fact, she went to Norway, to represent India in the Homeless World Cup from Aahan Bravehearts. So she started, and now it's more than 450 girls who are playing every day, all age groups. And we also have few boys who are coming, and the rule is that one boy has to bring 4 girls to play. So they have to bring those girls and enroll in the team, then the boy can play. So now few boys are very angry with us that there are no girls left, so how can he come and play, because he has nobody in the village to enroll. All the girls are playing football.
And
Um,
all these programs that you have in these deeply underserved communities in the Naxalite areas where it's hard to, reach basic services, are you seeing a
hmm.
change where the age of child marriage now has, like girls are getting married a little later, girls are going in for further education, they have confidence, parents have confidence to not sell their children and or traffic them. Have you seen any of these trends, or is it too early? How long does it take to see some of these changes since you started in 2012?
For us, we still struggle with child marriage and all. But yes, the girls who are coming regularly for last 5 6 years in our centers, that has definitely changed. But the parents are changing not only because of us, but also the society is changing. And whenever they are near the capital city, like in John and all, the things are changing. But in Naxal areas, no. You will still find whole village. There is no girl in those villages. Everybody has gone out. And there are so many villages, it's shocking that you only see men or older women or married women in villages. There's no girl from 5 years to 18 or 20 years. So we are trying, and definitely in our area, wherever we have worked, things have improved a lot. Not only girls are playing football, they are playing kabaddi, they are playing chess. We have chess players now, which is very rare in Ranchi. We have Khuti topper for class 10th, and she scored 86. Now she is aspiring to go to IIT and become an engineer. And we have Madhubani artists who have done exhibition in Delhi, solo exhibition, and all sold out. So, and these girls are emerging as role models. So now parents also want that, okay, if she's going to Norway, if she's going to Delhi, if she's going to doing coaching and going to IIT, then I also want my girls. No parent want to sell their girls just for, whims and fancies. It's the necessity. If you see from their perspective, they have seen it for generations, so they don't find it awkward or something which is not accepted by the society. But now there are parents who are opposing it, and they are saying that, okay, this shouldn't be done, especially mothers who have suffered by working in a brick kiln. Now they are suffering by making alcohol. So they are supporting us a lot.
Rashmi, it takes a special kind of person to give up the comfort of your home in Delhi and go and work in Naxalite areas. I know you're based out of Delhi, but you still travel a lot in these areas, which is considered unsafe and totally, lawless. Can you share some of those experiences? But more importantly, tell us what makes you the person you are who can do such things. I'm sure it's from your personal experience.
One thing, Elsa, when I started, I don't know whether I shared with you not, but when I started just by taking some samosa and gulab jamun and sitting on the roadside with my laptop and just telling the girls that come and take the samosa and gulab jamun and share your story with me. And that also was objected. I was beaten badly by Naxals. I faced oppositions, but it continued, and girls started supporting me, and now they are much stronger than I am. Where it all comes from is I have seen a difficult childhood. I was born in a very rich family, but when I was 9 year old, everything was changed. And I take it that it was time for me to grow and reinvent. But it was tough. For few years, it was crash course of life in its darkest form. I worked as a child laborer, so I understand that what is it that you face all the kind of problems. I have faced hunger. There have been times when we didn't have food at home. So I used to tear the corner of my notebook and roll the paper and put it in my mouth and just chew it so that I can get the feeling that okay, there is something in my mouth. So I relate to them, and whenever I see them, that okay, whatever happened, and it fills me with gratitude as well for my mother, who never thought of sending me away or selling me out. uh, she always supported, and she was very clear that education is important and you have to go to school. I used to work after coming from school, so half day I used to work in a soap factory to fill the soaps. And but yes, that strength comes that I want to give life to as many Rashmis as I can. That little child, little Rashmi always speaks to me.
Rashmi,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. It's such a moving story about being a child laborer yourself at a very young age and experiencing hunger. And we all know that on Friday, just 2 days ago, we celebrated, or rather, the day was named as Child Labor Day. And all of us were posting messages on child labor free days. So, but these days, where we put a hashtag on, or we put something on our profile picture. Those are all symbolic. We can do something. You did something. So, what would you recommend to our audience who are listening in their own little way, without wanting to go to a Naxalite area, or without having to start their own foundation? What are the one or two things that they can do to end child labor, to be more empathetic towards children who don't come from such fortunate backgrounds?
Yes, nobody has to take such drastic steps to do anything good. Um, there are very small steps. First thing, we have all seen so many chotus working in chai shops. We have never questioned it. First step is always questioning it. Secondly, we visit to so many friends where glass of water is served by a small girl. But we never tell our friend that don't do this. We never question that. And we keep on doing. We keep on buying things. I was shocked to, hear there was the train was going from Jaipur to Bihar, and they were supposed to be only few hundred and 150 child labor kids who were to be rescued. When the train reached there, there were thousands of them who were being who had gone to Bihar from bangle industry. So when we are using bangles, we know that okay, it's by some child labor. We have to start questioning. One day of hashtag, child labor or remove that, and we are against it, won't work. We have to do 365 days and question it at every point and support those kids. Rupanti Munda, a national level football player, was actually a trafficking victim. She needs to be applauded so that people can see that if you're not using them as a labor, they are creating the future of India. Today, that trafficking victim is training 450 girls in football. I'm a child labor, but I got education. I worked for 1 or 2 years. I didn't work for my lifetime, but yes, if my mother hadn't given me the education, what would happen? So these examples, I feel that people should come forward and talk about it so that people become aware. Nobody has to start a foundation to bring the change. One step is enough to bring the change in the world.
When you talk about this change, and the change starts with us, you yourself adopted one of these young girls who had been trafficked, and you rescued the girl and treated her as your own daughter. I know you've spoken a lot. Is it Rupanti yourself?
No, it's she, Rupni Barla.
Okay, yeah. The name was so similar.
Yeah,
So
the
I
very similar name. Yes.
but I know
Mm.
because we've spoken about your daughter a lot, and you have your own daughter. So the two of them grew up together. Can you share a little bit about that experience? Because what you're doing is also making your daughter more inclusive in her approach and in her perspectives. And I saw a little interview of your daughter where she says, I feel so guilty that I have every luxury whilst there are children who are deprived. So, when we say that we want to be the change, but we want to be the change on our own terms, how willing are we to actually allow these young girls to even enter our home, have a cup of tea, sit on our sofa, use our own utensils? Because every year, you and I, we both are members of Vital Voices. We have mentoring walks where we match established women leaders with young girls. And in Bombay, we
Yes.
partner with Preeti Patkar, and we have girls from her cohort, who come from the red light areas. And I often wonder, would that mentor actually take it one step forward and invite that girl home? Or is it only restricted to that mentoring relationship in the comfort of a hotel or outside of your home? So, can you share a little bit about your experiences as well in being brave and really being the change you wish to see?
It's difficult. First, I will mention that mentoring walk. We do mentoring walk just for tribal girls and by the community, which is very used to having tribals around. But still, as you said, that it stops at the mentoring walk and it never reaches the home. I haven't seen it yet, but it's a good idea, and I will take it forward next time that they have to reach their home. Coming back to my daughter, when I started, it was very tough. The society was not ready. Family was not ready. In fact, my biological daughter suffered a lot because she was boycotted by her parents that you are bringing a girl who is very maid like and we won't play with you. And as an option, I just told her that start playing badminton because that requires only two people. So you don't have to play a team sport. And every time she used to say that, okay, she is my Didi, but even the school bus attendant and everybody was, no, your maid has come, to pick you up, or your maid has come for the annual event. She used to feel very bad. We couldn't put them in the same school because the level of education was different. But society was so discriminatory for her. Even, the Kanya Puja, which we do in Navratra. My daughter stopped going for that because when the plates used to come at our home, one had 100 rupees and one had 10 rupees. Even when we are doing, worship, we are discriminating. There are so many friends and relatives we visited where she got a different set of utensils. She was not allowed to sit on the dining table. And this really made my daughter look at the world in a very different way. My biological one, she started fighting that if Didi doesn't sit on the dining table, I'm not going to sit on it. I will also sit on there only. So it changed her a lot, but it was a struggling time.
Thank you, Rashmi. I think these stories are so important to be told, and that's why one of the reasons why I have these live casts is because I know these stories, but a lot of the other people on my timeline may not really know the details. They read about you, but they don't know what it takes to actually make it happen. So, my last question to you is, now that you have reached where you have reached, what is the advice you would give your 16-year-old self?
I will say that raise your voice. I took time to raise my voice. And I didn't understand that, women leadership and everything very late. because I didn't have any exposure being in a city from Banaras. But I will say, all the Varanasi city girls, please, there's nothing which you cannot do which Delhi girl can do, or any small city girl. So start behaving like a Delhi girl or US girl or Australia girl or Europe girl, wherever you are. Raise your voice has strength. I learned late, but I'm telling all my girls, my daughters, my friends that and follow your dream. Don't be afraid. Be courageous. Courage is something which every girl should have.
On that note, Rashmi, thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us and your own personal journey, which is so inspiring. I really enjoyed this chat and wish you a wonderful Sunday evening. And thank you to all who joined in. There were some comments which I screened. There's a lot of praise coming in for your work. So do check it out later.
Yes.
And good luck to Aahan Foundation for Social Change. I want to see more of these young girls in different sports at the national level, and I'm going to be cheering for them. So thank you, Rashmi, for all you do.
Thank you. Thank you, Elsa. You have been inspiring for me for so long. And every time you inspire me.
Thank
So thank
you.
you so much for giving me the opportunity.